everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we are going to be discussing how Hawk Daddy, Shadow Daddy, may he rest in peace, but may your outfit not because it was awful. We are going to be discussing how he is going to be using the Miraculouses and how each one of them can be used for the purposes of evil. I think we can all agree after that episode list was released and completely messed up my life. I just wanted to relax, for God's sake. Did Gloob release that damn list? Anyway, we can all agree that for 15 of the episodes, Ladybug and Cat Noir will get a Miraculous back. They already have their own Miraculouses, and I do doubt they'll get the Peacock and Butterfly Miraculouses back this season, but I do think Felix will help them, but that's another video for another day. So one Miraculous back per episode, so it seems that Shadow Daddy, I'm sorry, Hawk Daddy, I can't get out of the habit of saying Shadow Daddy, I'll get there, but I don't want to, I miss him.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
So Hawk Daddy will lose one Miraculous per episode, which makes sense. As for the vast majority of Miraculouses, you do kind of need to be out in the open to use them. For example, the Tiger Miraculous, you have to be within punching distance, I guess, and same for the Bee Miraculous, you have to be able to touch the person to immobilise them. Some of the others can be used from further away, like the fox and the turtle and arguably the dog if you're really good at throwing, but you do need to be in range, and we all know that Daddy Agreste is deathly afraid of sunlight. So it makes sense that he will be giving out the Miraculouses to people he akumatizes. Now, I know that's a bit of an odd thing for me to say, as the episodes are usually named after Akuma villains, and they quite clearly aren't now, but this is a kids show, and as you've all seen with Miraculous, they do usually have to follow a set format. So I do think we'll still be getting Akuma villains. It'll definitely be different from what we're used to though, and the stakes will certainly be higher, but I think they could be given to Akuma villains and Ladybug and Cat Noir take them when the villain fails. However, that does seem like a silly thing for Gabriel to do. While it makes the Akuma villain more powerful, and since he'll have full control of them, plus the power they are using, and if he only akumatizes adults, they will be able to keep using their power, so that does give Daddy Agreste a pretty good advantage over Ladybug and Cat Noir, who are still children. I think he'll get pretty annoyed pretty quickly about losing the Miraculouses so easy, and could perhaps have Lila use a Dog Miraculous to get them back when Ladybug defeats the Akuma. Now, as we all know, Lila, Volpina, Fox. I definitely think Gabriel will give her the Fox Miraculous and have her work with him. Lila and Hawk Daddy are kind of friends. She helped him out in Catalyst, if you remember. She got akumatized and cast the illusion of Ladybug murdering Cat Noir. It was fabulous. And Lila also purposely got herself akumatized in Chameleon 2. She's a fan of Hawk Daddy for sure, but I do think she is suspicious of Gabriel being him. She hasn't ever said this, however in Miraculous and Ladybug from season 3, Gabriel was very cryptic with Lila and kind of gave her hints about who he wanted akumatizing with her help in both of those episodes. If Lila isn't 100% certain that Daddy Agreste is Hawk Daddy, then I do think at the very least she's suspicious. And perhaps after he loses the Buddy Miraculous straight away. Like, how do you lose that one first, you complete and utter idiot? I was thinking the other day, oh yeah, the Snake and Rabbit will be like the last ones Ladybug and Cat Noir get back due to their powers because of how strong those Miraculouses are. And then he's got the episode list. And I was like, Gabriel, you are more stupid than I had initially thought. Well done. But anyway, after he loses that one first, he'll have Lila use the Fox Miraculous and Chloe use the Bee Miraculous to help him fight with his powered up Akuma villain. But then after the Fox Miraculous is taken, he'll be like, okay, Lila, you take the Dog Miraculous so you can attempt to retrieve the Miraculouses I hand out so we don't lose any. Now, I had also expected the Fox Miraculous to stay missing for much longer too. I'm quite surprised that Illusion is actually episode 5 and not something like episode 20 or even later. However, Lila isn't as clever as she thinks she is. Her lies and manipulation only work because the class all collectively share an IQ of 2, so when the Fox Miraculous gets taken, presumably from her, she will then use a different Miraculous, which I think will be the dog. Very interestingly, Lila's colour scheme matches the fox, but it also matches the dog, and how fitting would it be for Lila to use a Miraculous that Ladybug essentially has trauma associated with? Now, Hawk Daddy doesn't know about her panic attack, why would he, and neither does Lila, but it would be very fitting for Lila's character and how Marinette feels about her. The Dog Miraculous could also be used further than that though, and maybe when Shadow Daddy is like, okay, time for a final showdown, Lila just throws the ball at Ladybug, touches her with it, then she summons him to wherever Shadow Daddy wants her. But I doubt they'll do that because that's too much of a big brain move for the show. So now let's talk about the Buddy Miraculous, which gets returned in episode 1. amazing. It doesn't seem like Gabriel will have that much time to be evil with it, but I think it could be used by the Akuma villain in that episode to use the burrow to disappear, kind of like a hiding place when they start losing against Ladybug and Cat Noir. Now, Gabriel, of course, could go back in time before Emily fell ill, but we know Adrian is a senti monster now, so I would assume she's ill because she made Adrian with a broken Miraculous. If he prevents her from doing that, Adrian won't exist, and I'm assuming Gabriel wants him alive. Well, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but assuming he does want Adrian to stay alive, then there's no point Gabriel doing that. And I also don't think he could go back in time and find out who Ladybug and Cat Noir are. Gabriel doesn't know when exactly they received their Miraculous, and it also seems from Strike Back you need to know the location of the thing happening. Ladybug got a lucky charm to tell her that whatever happened at the Botanical Gardens, so she went there. Gabriel doesn't know where they received their Miraculouses. Honestly, I think he could just use the burrow to watch Emily from the inside like Bunnix does in Cat Blank, and then the Akuma villain will use the burrow as kind of like a second chance when they need to rethink whatever it is they're doing. As for the fox, which will be returned in episode 5, we already have a pretty good idea how it can be used for evil after episodes like Volpina and the Heroes' Day finale. The illusions could be used to trick Ladybug and Cat Noir, whether by casting illusions of people in danger so they get distracted from the actual danger they need to help with, or to put other people in danger. However, assuming Lila does use it, that puts Ladybug and Cat Noir at an advantage as Lila is a child and will have to transform back at some point. However, at first, like for the first 5 episodes before we get the illusion episode, I feel like when Lila uses a fox Miraculous, she'll be like Rena furtive, Volpina furtive. That doesn't really work. So next let's talk about the mouse Miraculous for episode 2, Multiplication, and I feel like we could have a mega leech situation with it, which I hope to God we don't, because when I close my eyes, all I see imprinted on my eyelids is the inside of Nino's head. Although I doubt we'll see the inside of Nino's ears again. Thank God. Please, Thomas Estruck, I swear to God. But the mouse Miraculous could be used easily to overwhelm Ladybug and Cat Noir. Thankfully, when you multiply with the Miraculous, you get smaller, so as long as the person didn't multiply loads and get tiny, like Polymouse and Megaleech did, they would still be difficult to fight. And I think we've all realised by now that there's a big possibility that Mr. Ramier, who is Mr. Pigeon, will become Mr. Rat. What if he multiplies himself so he can ride on rats? Oh my God, I die of happiness. Oh my God, no wait. What if he gets to ride on a pigeon and they go flying? I highly doubt that will ever happen in the show, but imagine it, besties. My life would be complete if I got to see that. Episode 4 is Jubilation, the pig Miraculous, and honestly, if I was Gabriel, I'd give this Miraculous back to Ladybug. I'd wrap it up for her and send it her in the mail. I do think it can be very useful in certain situations, but all of the time, and for the purposes of evil, I don't really see how. I have no clue for this one, sorry. Determination is episode 6, which is for the Ox Miraculous. So the power of the Ox is resistance, meaning immune to other abilities, which is fun. I can see this one being used by an Akuma villain who needs a lot of defense to achieve their goal. However, the wearer will become immune to others' abilities, so I think this episode will see Ladybug and Cat Noir not relying on their Lucky Charm and Cataclysm to defeat them. Episode 7, Passion, representing the Goat Miraculous, which is pretty straightforward. The person will create an object to aid them. However, as Nathaniel says in Panel Team, it's not magical, not like an object created from the Peacock Miraculous could be. So I think it kind of could be used like the Lucky Charm, as they are often normal objects too. Apart from the ray gun in Cheelin, who owns a ray gun? To be honest, I do think this one will be quite easy to defeat. The Tiger Miraculous, episode 9, Exaltation, and this is going to cause a lot of damage, either to Ladybug and Cat Noir, other people, or the environment, and if Hawk Daddy has any sense, he'll give it to an adult, that way the power can be used again and again to cause maximum devastation. Episode 12, Perfection, for the Dragon Miraculous, and I think it's really easy to use this one for evil, but the wearer, as we've seen with Kagami Ezryuku, kind of transforms into whatever element they're using, which I think could be their weak point, and Ladybug and Cat Noir will be able to trap them. As we saw in Ephemeral, the Dragon Miraculous couldn't do anything against a metal safe. The Horse Miraculous is next for episode 13, Migration, and again, for this one to be the most effective, it should be used by an adult. If the wearer can create a lot of portals, they can easily move around and escape Ladybug and Cat Noir, but also sneak up on them from different angles, like with Pegabug in Sentibubbler. Derision is the monkey Miraculous in episode 14, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It will be used for evil by creating chaos. I guess Ladybug and Cat Noir are going to have to find a way to work with the chaos to win it back. But next, oh boy, is episode 15, Intuition, which is the snake Miraculous. Now, as we saw in Miracle Queen, this isn't impossible to defeat, and actually quite easy if you just grab him before he does a second chance, but it definitely has the potential to be very difficult. Next up, Protection, episode 16, the Turtle Miraculous. It could be used to protect the Akuma object. We know it can be concentrated to a small area, or it could be used to trap Ladybug and Cat Noir so they can't leave. And the last Miraculous we'll talk about today is the Rooster for episode 19, Pretension. The Rooster Miraculous can have any power it wants, so I'm not surprised this is one of the last Miraculouses they're getting back, and if given to an adult, I would assume that means the wearer can change the power at any time they want, multiple times. So this one can be used for evil pretty easily, although I am sad it means we probably won't get to see a lot of Mark until after this episode. Thomas Astruc, are you trying to write my son, my best boy, out of the show? I will do another video, of course, discussing theories for the other episodes, like episode 3 Destruction, as well as the ones that have titles not related to Miraculouses, like 20 Revelation, but for now, I'd love to know your theories on how Shadow Daddy, Hawk Daddy, can use each of these Miraculouses for evil. I'd love to know what you think, besties, and I'll see you in the next one.